Have you ever looked at your dream and quietly whispered to yourself, this is impossible? Maybe it was starting a business, maybe it was healing after heartbreak, maybe it was overcoming debt, maybe it was rebuilding your life from nothing. I know that feeling, because there was a time in my life when the distance between where I was and where I wanted to be felt so large that my dream seemed almost laughable. And then I came across a simple but life-changing quote from Nelson Mandela. It always seems impossible until it is done. At first, it sounded inspiring. But the deeper I looked, the more I realized that this is not just motivation. Today, I want to share what I learned from this quote and how it completely changed the way I see challenges, possibilities, and the hidden power of the human mind. Let's begin. The word impossible is fascinating. Think about it. Every major achievement in human history was once labeled impossible. Flying was impossible, talking across continents was impossible, walking on the moon was impossible, carrying a computer in your pocket was impossible. Yet today, they are ordinary. So what changed? Reality or perception? Ancient philosophers understood something profound. Most limits exist first in the mind before they exist in the world. The human brain naturally predicts based on past experiences. If we have never seen something happen, the mind assumes it cannot happen. But history repeatedly proves that reality is much bigger than our assumptions. The impossible is often just the unexplored. And that realization changed everything for me. Let's go deeper. Most people think that they are making conscious decisions, but psychology tells us something different. A huge portion of our behavior comes from our unconscious beliefs. These beliefs operate silently. You may consciously say, I want success, but unconsciously believe I am not smart enough, I am too old, I'm too young, I don't have enough money, people like me don't succeed. These hidden programs quietly shape reality. Not because they are true, but because they influence every action we take. Imagine driving with one foot on the accelerator and one foot on the brake. That is how many people live. They desire greatness consciously, but unconsciously expect failure. And then they wonder why progress feels impossible. Consider Nelson Mandela. For 27 years, he was imprisoned. 27 years. Most people would conclude that freedom was impossible, leadership was impossible, national unity was impossible, but Mandela refused to allow present circumstances to define future possibilities. That's one of the greatest lessons I ever learned. Your current situation is not your final destination. It is simply your current location. The map is not the territory. The present is not the future. And what seems impossible today may become tomorrow's testimony. Let me give you an example. Imagine a young woman who dreams of becoming a doctor. She grows up in a poor village, no connections, limited resources. Everyone around her says that it can't be done. At first, she believes them. The dream feels impossible. But she studies one chapter, then another, one exam at a time, 1 year at a time. Eventually, she graduates. People call her extraordinary. But here's the truth. The achievement was not impossible. It was simply incomplete. Most impossible goals are actually unfinished journeys. The destination looks impossible only because we are standing at the beginning. One of the most fascinating discoveries in science is that reality often behaves differently than common sense predicts. In the quantum level, particles can exist in probabilities before becoming observable outcomes. The future contains possibilities that have not yet fully materialized. Without turning this into science fiction, here is the lesson. Reality is often less fixed than it appears. The future is not carved in stone. It is shaped through choices, actions, and interactions. Every decision you make collapses one possibility and strengthens the other. Your future is not something you discover. It is something you participate in creating. And that's empowering. So how do we practically overcome the feeling of impossibility? Let me share 4 powerful practices. Number 1, catch the impossible language. For 1 week, listen carefully to your self-talk. Notice phrases like, I cannot, that will never happen, I am not capable. Write them down. Most people are shocked by how often they speak limitations into existence. Awareness is the first awakening. Number 2, ask better questions. Instead of saying, why is this impossible? Ask yourself, what will make this possible? That single question shifts the brain from resistance into creativity. The unconscious mind begins searching for solutions instead of obstacles. Number 3, shrink the goal. Mountains are climbed one step at a time. Whenever something feels impossible, reduce it to today's action. Not the entire journey, just today's step. Read one page, make one phone call, save $1, record one video. Small actions repeatedly performed create extraordinary outcome. 4. Visualize completion. Every night before sleeping, spend 2 minutes imagining your goal already accomplished. Feel the gratitude, feel the relief, feel the confidence. The unconscious mind responds strongly to repeated mental imagery. Elite athletes have used this principle for decades. You are teaching your mind to become familiar with success, and familiarity reduces resistance. Many wisdom tradition teaches that faith is not believing everything will happen exactly as you want. Faith is acting despite uncertainty. Faith is taking a step before the path becomes visible. Faith is planting seed before seeing the fruit. Faith is moving when evidence is incomplete. And that's exactly why impossible dreams becomes possible realities. The universe rewards movement. Life responds to participation. Doors often open only after you begin walking towards them. If there is one lesson I've learned from Nelson Mandela's quote is this: the impossible is often a story we tell ourselves before the work begins. The moment we start moving, the impossible begins transforming into the difficult. The difficult becomes manageable. The manageable becomes achievable. And eventually, the achievable becomes reality. The miracle is not that extraordinary people accomplish extraordinary things. The miracle is that ordinary people consistently underestimate what they can become. Today, I want you to think about that dream you've almost abandoned. The goal you've delayed, the vision you've hidden, the possibility you've convinced yourself is unrealistic. What if it only seems impossible because you've not finished the journey yet? What if your breakthrough is closer than you think? What if your future self is already looking back at today's struggle and smiling? Because what feels impossible now will one day become your story, your testimony, your evidence, your proof. And on that day, you will finally understand what Nelson Mandela meant when he said, "It always seems impossible until it is done." Thank you for spending this time with me. If this episode inspired you, please like, share, and subscribe. Leave a comment below. What is one thing in your life that currently feels impossible, but you are choosing to pursue anyway? I'd love to hear your thoughts. And if you'd like to support this channel and help us continue creating content exploring philosophy, spirituality, consciousness, psychology, and the hidden laws shaping human potential, please check the support links in the description. Your support helps us reach more minds, awaken more hearts, and continue producing life-changing content for audiences around the world. Until next time, stay curious, stay conscious, and remember, the impossible is often just possibility waiting for persistence. See you in the next episode.